Okay, I'm trying to not make this video an hour long. I had to stop my other one because I was just stuck and I couldn't find someone. So basically, I did run into something interesting earlier this week, and I'm still working with the Captain Simon Pearson family just because it was the easiest thing that I could do while working. I did find something interesting here. So basically, there is a person's profile that I ran into. This particular person, and she may have passed away, but she manages 3 DNA matches to James Topol and 2 for Steve and Winston both. They both matched this person, these same 2 people. Um, Now, getting into this here, so basically the area of the tree is this. She is a descendant of Lula Grace Blanchard. There were so many DNA matches connected to it, I couldn't even put them all in there. And I should note that I put them in the suffix. I put DNA, and then sometimes it's a link, sometimes it's a person name. That just by searching DNA, you will get. You'll go straight to some of those places in the tree. But so she is a descendant of this Taylor family. Um, and I don't know, I mean, we're throwing in the Bryan name, we're throwing in the Seagraves name, we're staying with the Utleys because they're all over the place. The Fouquets have always been around, but I've never known how they have fit into things. So, I mean, we've got some pretty similar surnames, but I just left this window open because I wanted to note that the Seagraves were involved in this, and that's been a mystery for years. I wondered how that family or why that family would come up in matches sometimes. So I'm going to close this window out, and basically see, I've got too many windows open. Anyway, so we get Charles Taylor and also Aline Taylor as the matches for Steve. And Winston both, I should mention. Looking at their shared matches, we get Carol Evans, Faye Barber. Not overly familiar, but I recognize at least Faye. If you go into her, she is very much of the family that we have been researching. She pulls up a lot of the same matches that we have been researching. And of course, now Ancestry is probably going to shut down because I am very close to sending them an email and telling them to just cancel my membership. That's how bad it's been lately. It's way too expensive for this crap. Anyway, let me see if I can reload and get any. Okay, here we go. So we've got Deborath, Wyndham, other people's names I probably can't pronounce properly. There's Carol Evans. So I feel like, okay, so we're fishing in the right area. Now, Charles Taylor, I mean, we can check just a different variety of that same group. I know she was on that one earlier. So we're not going to worry about that a whole lot, but we are going to go to the tree. And the one that jumps, so there's Brian, which that name was all over my YDNA matches of Brian and O'Brien. The Taylor name I know has been mentioned by Kit a lot. There's at least one Taylor descendant that she was researching involving Steve. I don't know if this Taylor family is linked to it or not. But then, of course, there's Sarah A Pearson, which I will get back to here in a second. So, and then the Fouquets and all that I've mentioned. So, if you're jumping now to James Topol. James Topol has 3 matches that are managed by her, BBTMMT. So, again, I'm going to keep opening new tabs just because I want to make sure that I have all of these people. Mary Taylor is actually linked the same way. Same tree, we get the point. We've got the Seagraves in there. We've got Sarah A. So, shared matches. that one of his children, Jason Dixon, that's perfect because that's his father's side. And then we also get Edith Williamson Milano, who was one of the 4 mutual matches of James Topol and Steve Pearson and Winston, I believe. And it's interesting to note that Edith is a direct descendant of the Peter Pearson family. And so the Peter Pearson family is intertwined in this somehow. That or Edith is really connected to another family. I mean, however you want to say it, but they're the same, one and the same, or they're linked somehow. And again, I know Kit has been researching, the head Pearson side, and I mean, all these families, just to me, they seem to be intertwined somehow. We've got Jonathan Dixon, which is again James' father's side, perfect. Stacy Peria was also one of the DNA matches between Steve and James Topol, as was Bruce Utley, who the Utley name has obviously come up a lot. And then further on down, we also get, I believe, Laura Johnson. If not, she's on one of these other ones. And it's probably not even worth going over this. We get the point. It's going to pull up a lot of the same people. Stacy Peria. I had pinpointed her and where she was on this tree that I'm doing, but I've slept since then. There's Mary Taylor. There's Laura Johnson. I mean, as far as the people that we are researching currently, this looks like, to me, Brian Bradford, definitely on his father's side. I've been trying to figure him out. Again, Edith. It looks like to me that this is kind of a direct hit, at least a direct hit for being in the right area. So whenever looking, really all of the links now, all of them point back to this couple and then go backwards, basically. Now, she did marry twice, and one of James Topol DNA matches is a Honeycutt, which was her other husband. So it's obviously the relationship has got to be with her, because, I mean, assuming that, we're not all related to the same Honeycutt side, that, so I mean, throwing that out the window, it appears that it's the Blanchard part of the family that you would want to backtrack on. And you do see Sarah A. Pearson. So Sarah A. Pearson is actually, and let me go ahead and expand the tree. So Sarah A. Pearson is actually Paris Allen Pearson's, Stephen Pearson. This view is so confusing to me. So Paris Allen Pearson, then you get Stephen, and then you get Sarah A. And, I mean, with the matches that we're pulling up, and obviously it's the Samuel Pearson, Mary Simmons line, which is what I named the Simon Pearson family after. It just, to me, this just seems pretty significant. Now, again, we're pulling up Peter Pearson family relatives in here, possibly even William had Pearson relatives. I know Kit has been researching that family a lot. I kind of think we're all in the same, or at least in the same book, and the families seem to be also. So, I mean, it makes sense that a lot of the records are merged, and it's pretty apparent that I have cousins, at the very least, I have cousins already in my family tree for all 3 families that we're discussing. So, I mean, you've got that factor there. But I just wanted to mention that. I thought that was an interesting find. Definitely not something I want to forget about. And the more I sleep, the more likely that is. It's Santa Calagon weekend. It's going to be a busy weekend. I hope everyone is doing well, and I am going to turn this video off.